If you're in the middle of paying off your debt, do you have an emergency fund? And if so, how much emergency fund do you really need to have? Too little and you might derail your progress, but too much and you also might be slowing down your debt payoff. In today's video, I'm going to help you figure out the perfect amount so that you can keep making progress and crush that debt for good. So what kind of emergency fund should you have if you are in the middle of paying off your debt? First of all, can I just say great job if you are working on paying off your debt? It is so worth all of the sacrifice and the effort, and I just want to cheer you on and tell you to keep going. Awesome job. Stick with it. The amount of money that you need in an emergency fund while you're paying off your debt is really, like all of personal finance, personal. It all depends on your current circumstances and your risk level and what you're comfortable with. You need to look at your personal situation and just find that sweet spot so that you don't have too much money sitting there that could be helping you pay off the debt, but you don't have too little sitting there that you end up right back into debt and you slow down your progress. If you have a really stable job and you're single, you will need a different amount in your emergency fund than somebody who has a job with varying income or has 7 kids. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? Now, I love Dave Ramsey, and he was hugely influential and helpful in our own debt payoff journey. I gift his book, Total Money Management, to people all the time for graduations or for weddings. It's just got a lot of great wisdom. And Dave says a great starter emergency fund, if you're paying off your debt, is $1,000. However, I think we can look at it a little bit differently now, especially coming out of a period of inflation that we've been living in here, at least in the States, for the last several years. Prices have gone up, things have gotten more expensive, and it might take a little more than $1,000 for you to feel comfortable crushing your debt while still knowing you have a little bit of a cushion should something happen. Now, $1,000 might be great for you in your situation too, so no hate to Dave. Love that guy. As I've spoken about here on the channel before, my husband and I hate car payments. And we love to drive older cars that we pay cash for, and we just take really good care of them. And the trade-off with that is that we will often have more car repairs, and sometimes those repairs will be a little more pricey. And I can just say that $1,000 emergency fund could easily be wiped out with some of the repairs that we've had to deal with. So I would personally, in that situation, want a little bit more, because you don't want to have to keep starting over. It's hard enough on that debt payoff. To have to get derailed it just makes it harder to stick with it. So I want to help you find that perfect amount so that you have protection. And obviously we can't foresee everything that will happen. Sometimes stuff will happen beyond that baby emergency fund, even if you've done your best to get that perfect sweet spot. But I just want to help you see if you can do as well as you're able to do with what you know now to just make sure you can be successful as you pay off your debt. I think a really good place for most people with their emergency fund is to have 1 to 2 months of their bare bone budget set aside. So when I say bare bones budget, I mean not all of the extras. I'm talking about that slimmed down, if you lost your job tomorrow, what do you need to keep paying the roof over your head, the light bill, your food, just that bare bones, I need to have X to get by for 2 months or 1 to 2 months, depending if I lost my income. Now, how do you know what that is for you? Well, you have to have a budget. And if you're working on paying off debt, I would imagine you already do have a budget. If you don't, check out this video I made about 5 different types of budgets. They will really help you think through what budget fits you in the way that you see money best. But the best way to know what your bare bones budget is to have a budget and then slice it down to the bare bones. So what I do is I have a spreadsheet and I list every expense, and then I have a second column that's, can this go away? My mortgage, I have to pay it. I don't have to pay extra on my mortgage if my husband loses his job, but if I want to keep a house, I need to keep paying the mortgage, so I put that minimum amount there. And then I just go down the list and I say, can this go away or be cut? So certain things that I say can't go away are internet. If somebody loses a job and they need to be out there applying for a job, you need to have access to the internet nowadays. So that would be a bill that I would say I can't get rid of. Could I potentially cut that down depending on my internet provider? Sure. So that would be a variable bill. Other things like your groceries or your eating out, you can slash those dramatically if you were in a desperate situation. So what's the minimum that you would need? That amount would go there. And this is just a way that you can go through and kind of figure out what is my bare bones budget for 1 to 2 months. And that amount of money could be a perfect sweet spot for an emergency fund while you're paying off debt. You definitely want to try to have enough to prevent you from having to use a credit card to pay for something that comes up, because that credit card is going to be high interest debt that's just going to keep piling up as you're trying to pay it off. So it's just counterintuitive. You don't want to have to use a credit card if you can help it. Some people will also recommend having a baby emergency fund that is just the amount of your highest insurance deductible. So if it's your home insurance or your car insurance, whatever that highest deductible for that unexpected, maybe it's a tree falls on your house or a car repair or even like a medical deductible, sometimes that highest deductible amount could be a good emergency fund. That might depend on you and your personal situation. Maybe you don't own a home. Maybe you're in really great health. You don't foresee any medical expenses, or maybe you know you have health issues, and that might be a really good one. Your highest medical deductible might be a great baby emergency fund for you too. So whether you go with the Dave Ramsey $1,000, whether you do 1 to 2 months bare bones, or your highest deductible, what one do you feel most comfortable with? That is the one that is the sweet spot for you. That's the one that's going to help you stay focused on your debt-free journey. If you would like to hear a little bit more about emergency funds, click into this video next, and I will see you over there. Thanks for watching.